I never thought I'd be standing in a courtroom at 32 years old, watching my entire marriage crumble in front of a judge. But there I was, and what happened that day still gives me chills when I think about it. Let me take you back to the beginning. 7 years ago, I met someone who I genuinely believed was my soulmate. We clicked instantly, spent 2 amazing years dating, and I proposed without a second thought. I was working in real estate sales, nothing glamorous but stable enough to build a life on. She had a part-time gig at a boutique downtown, and everything seemed perfect. The wedding was beautiful. My parents were thrilled, my younger sister seemed happy for me, and I felt like the luckiest guy alive. We moved into a house I'd purchased a year before proposing. My dad had co-signed to help me get better rates, but every single mortgage payment came from my account. I worked hard for that house, and I was proud to bring my new wife home to it. The first few months of marriage were great. She got along wonderfully with my family. My mom loved having another woman to chat with about fashion and neighborhood gossip. My dad enjoyed her company during football games. Even my sister, who's usually pretty guarded, seemed to warm up to her. Everything felt right. Then things started shifting, slowly at first. About 6 months after the wedding, she quit her boutique job. She said she needed time to figure out what she really wanted to do with her life, maybe start a business or go back to school. I supported that decision completely. I told her to take her time, explore her options, find her passion. I was happy to carry the financial load temporarily while she figured things out. Except temporarily turned into months, then a year, then longer. The business ideas never materialized. School applications were never filled out. Instead, she spent her days redecorating the house, meeting friends for long lunches, shopping for clothes she didn't need. I didn't say much because I didn't want to be that husband who complains about his wife not working. I figured she'd find her way eventually. But my sister noticed something I was trying to ignore. During a family dinner about 8 months into the marriage, she pulled me aside in the kitchen and asked if everything was okay. I asked what she meant, and she said my wife seemed different lately, more distant, like she was physically there but mentally somewhere else. I brushed it off, told her we were fine, just adjusting to married life. We weren't fine, though. I just didn't want to admit it yet. The late nights started around the 1-year mark. She'd tell me she was going to yoga class or meeting girlfriends for dinner, then wouldn't come home until 2 or 3 in the morning. When I'd ask about it, she'd explode, accusing me of being controlling and paranoid. She'd say she needed space, that marriage didn't mean giving up her independence, that I was suffocating her. I'd end up apologizing just to stop the fighting, even though I knew something was wrong. My gut was screaming at me, but I ignored it. I loved her. I trusted her. I believed in our marriage. Looking back now, I realize how naive I was being. The breaking point came on a random Tuesday afternoon. She'd left her phone on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. I walked past it, and the screen lit up with a text notification. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the preview message was explicit enough that I couldn't ignore it. My hands were shaking as I unlocked her phone and started reading. The messages went back months. Detailed conversations with some guy about their secret meetups, their plans for the future, intimate details that made me physically sick. They talked about me like I was a joke, an obstacle to work around. She complained about being stuck with me while she waited for the divorce. He reassured her it would be worth it when they could finally be together openly with all that money. I sat on the kitchen floor with her phone in my hands, feeling like my entire world had just collapsed. Everything I'd believed about my marriage, about her, about us, it was all a lie. When she came out of the bathroom, she found me sitting at the dining table with her phone in front of me. The look on her face told me everything. But instead of apologizing or showing any remorse, she went on the attack. She screamed about invasion of privacy, about my trust issues, about how this was exactly why she needed someone else. She actually tried to make me the villain in the situation. That night, she packed a bag and left. I later found out she moved straight in with him. The divorce process started immediately. She hired an aggressive lawyer who came out swinging, demanding half of everything. Half the house I'd bought before we even met. Half my savings. Half my retirement accounts. Her lawyer painted this picture of a devoted wife who'd sacrificed her career for our marriage, conveniently leaving out the part where she'd voluntarily quit her job and contributed nothing financially for years. The mediation sessions were brutal. She'd show up with her boyfriend, and they'd sit there looking smug, like they'd already won. He'd whisper things to her, and they'd both smirk in my direction. During breaks, I could hear them in the hallway talking about what they'd do with the money, how they'd invest it, where they'd travel. They were spending my money before they even had it. My family was furious. My dad wanted to confront them. My sister wanted to hire a private investigator to dig up more dirt. My mom just kept saying I deserved so much better. But my lawyer kept me focused. She told me to document everything, keep my emotions in check, and trust the process. A few days before the final court hearing, her boyfriend sent me a message on social media. It was pure arrogance, saying I was a sucker, that they were about to set up their dream life with my money, that he couldn't believe how easy this was. I screenshot it and sent it to my lawyer without responding. Every instinct wanted to fire back, but I knew staying silent was smarter. The night before court, I couldn't sleep. I paced my living room until dawn, running through every possible outcome. What if the judge sided with her? What if I lost my house? What if years of hard work disappeared because I'd been stupid enough to marry the wrong person? My dad drove me to the courthouse that morning. As we walked up the steps, I saw them in the hallway, actually laughing. She was dressed conservatively, playing the part of the wronged wife, but they couldn't hide their confidence. They thought they'd already won. Inside the courtroom, her lawyer went first. He painted a beautiful picture of sacrifice and devotion, claiming she'd put her career on hold to support our marriage. He conveniently forgot to mention she'd quit voluntarily or that she was currently living with another man. He asked for half of everything plus substantial ongoing spousal support. Then my lawyer stood up. She was calm, methodical, devastating. She presented the timeline of when I'd bought the house, years before marriage. She showed every mortgage payment, every utility bill, every expense that proved I'd funded everything alone. She showed bank statements proving my ex had contributed nothing financially during our entire marriage. Then she presented the messages, the affair, the planning, the counting of my money before they had it. She showed the boyfriend's taunting texts. She demonstrated that my ex had financial support available and wasn't the helpless victim her lawyer pretended she was. The judge's face changed as the evidence piled up. She started asking my ex direct questions. When did the affair start? When did you decide you wanted a divorce? Are you currently living with this man? Does he have an income? My ex stumbled over every answer, contradicting herself, getting caught in lies. Her lawyer tried to intervene, but the judge wasn't having it. She wanted answers, and my ex couldn't provide consistent ones. After both sides presented, the judge called for a short recess. Those 15 minutes felt like hours. I sat in the hallway with my dad, trying not to think about worst-case scenarios. Across from us, I could hear her boyfriend saying, "Don't worry, babe. We got this." The arrogance was unbelievable. When we were called back in, my heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it. The judge reviewed the facts aloud. Short marriage. House purchased before marriage. No financial contribution from the wife. Evidence of infidelity. Current cohabitation with an employed partner. Then she announced her decision. The house would remain mine. My savings would remain mine. My retirement would remain mine. My ex would receive a small settlement, just enough to help her transition, maybe $5,000 total. She'd get temporary spousal support of a few $100s a month for exactly 6 months, after which it would terminate permanently. The judge noted that given my ex's age, education, work history, and current living situation with a partner who had income, she was fully capable of supporting herself. The courtroom went completely silent. Then my ex's face crumbled. Her boyfriend's smug expression evaporated. She started to protest, but the judge cut her off sharply. The decision was final. No appeals. Case closed. Her lawyer tried one last time to argue, but the judge wasn't interested. She'd reviewed the evidence, applied the law, and made her ruling. We were dismissed. Outside the courtroom, my ex confronted me, tears streaming down her face, saying this wasn't fair, that I'd ruined her life. Her boyfriend looked like he wanted to start a physical fight, but my dad stepped between us. The boyfriend called me a loser under his breath. I just smiled and said, "You're the one who lost today. Deal with it." They stormed off together, and I finally exhaled. My dad hugged me, so tight I could barely breathe. We went to a bar, called my mom and sister, and celebrated. The relief was overwhelming. I'd won. The truth had won. Justice had actually prevailed. In the weeks that followed, I heard through mutual friends that their relationship was falling apart. Apparently, he'd been counting on that divorce money for some business investment, and without it, his plans collapsed. They fought constantly. She ended up moving out. The fairy tale romance couldn't survive reality. Meanwhile, I started rebuilding. I reconnected with old friends. Started going to the gym regularly. Picked up hobbies I'd abandoned during the marriage. My house felt like mine again. I repainted, rearranged furniture, erased every trace of her. My family came over constantly, helping me create new memories in that space. I ran into her about 6 months later at a coffee shop. She looked exhausted, older somehow. She tried to make small talk, then made a bitter comment about how I'd screwed her over in the divorce. I reminded her that the judge had made the decision based on evidence and facts. She didn't have a response. She left quickly, and I finished my coffee feeling genuinely free. A year later, I'm doing better than I've been in years. The house is paid down significantly. I got a promotion at work. I've started dating again, casually, with no pressure. I've learned to trust my instincts and recognize red flags. I've learned that standing up for yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. My ex and her boyfriend thought they'd outsmarted me. They thought the system would automatically hand them half of everything I'd worked for. They laughed at me in that courthouse hallway, so confident in their victory. But when that judge delivered her ruling, when she gave them almost nothing, their tears told the whole story. They played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. And me? I walked away with my house, my savings, my self-respect, and my freedom. Sometimes the good guy actually wins. Sometimes justice prevails. Sometimes standing up for yourself pays off in ways you never imagined. Life is good now. Really, really good. And that's the best revenge of all.